Welcome to Tiger Chainsaw Interviews. These exclusive interviews will give you a behind the scenes retrospective mixed in with some amazing secrets of your favorite games and franchises by the developers and creators of them. Now, if I have filmed the interview, you'll be able to watch it. Otherwise, it's a phone interview, so just sit back and relax. Now, I have done some incredible exclusive interviews with some amazing gaming legends in this community. So hit that sub button to make sure you don't miss any of those interviews. Alright, let's get to our interview of the day. Hey, what's up viewers? You got Tiger Chainsaw here. Now before this interview starts, I wanted to give you a warning, or at least tell you about two things with this interview. Number one, I did this interview extremely sick. This interview, I unfortunately had COVID, and I didn't know it at the time, and it was within the first 24 hours of me getting it. And so in the video, you are going to see how sick I am. And then the second thing that I would like to warn you guys about is that my interviewee, Tomi Turunen, who I hope I am pronouncing correctly, he has a very thick Finnish accent. Now, he actually warned me about that. He was a really good sport. He still wanted to do the interview, and I still wanted him, but it can be a little bit difficult to understand him at times. So with those two things being said, I hope you enjoy my interview with Tomi, who was the lead level designer for Dead Nation, one of the most underrated, coolest games on the PS3.
Okay. Yeah, so I was going through your answers. I really liked them already. It was really cool to kind of see a little bit about what went into Dead Nation. But if you're all set, I'm all set. And let me pull up the question sheet that I have.
Yeah.
All right. So it kind of looks like your first video game credit dates back to 2005. How did you kind of make your way into the video game industry? What was that journey like? And kind of what were you doing before then?
So in early 2000, I was jobless, so I didn't have anything to do. And I was starting doing like 3D modeling at my own time at home, and as a like hobby, nothing else. But I was trying to find like education around it, getting better skill and finding my, something to do, like basically that. And I was pretty lucky that I found it one school, and it was focusing on game dev. So how to make games, not just the art side, but coding and everything else. So I got in there, and with there, one of the teacher was looking this kind of outside of school project, which was Kumo, and that I was doing like 3D assets like weapons, the main character. A couple of other students was coding and helping with that thing. So it was kind of school project, but outside of school. And I think that was kind of first game that went out, but it's not actually in my CV because it's not published game in that sense. And it was kind of small things, but it was fun to do and everything else. But from that school, I got internship in oldest studio back in Finland, which is Harsmarkwa. And I have actually a small story about it because when I first had interview with the CEO in there, we had this great talk where the company is coming for, what they have been doing previously, because they had like already like history like 15 years before I joined it in, and like very good chat with the CEO. And then the creative director came in, looked my portfolio and asked me, "Is this it?" and walk out. And I was, oh fuck, I like I don't ever get this job. Like I'm just fucked. But thank God they just did give me the internship. I was there like, I don't remember how long. It was probably 3-4 months, and after I graduated, they hired me full time. So it was good story, but like there was this time when I was thinking that I have been screwing up totally at this point already.
Yeah, so you said that you knew about Dead Nation pretty early on. What were your initial thoughts on the project?
So yeah, I was very early on involved. So I think, if I remember right, I was working in the first, not level, but area where we kind of play test the whole thing. So I was building it like very gray box, very rough, like boxes, bin houses, some gray box core, some fences, so a couple light sources. And then our lead programmer added this swarm of zombies, like maybe 20 zombies, and they all were very simple, like maybe like 3 boxy characters, like a Minecraft type of thing. So nothing that special, but having characters had these ragdoll bodies. So when we can fight them, they're falling down. When we are throwing the throw the grenade towards them, they actually flow out, like, and it was mind-blowing seeing the scene that, oh fuck, this is actually the game what we want to do. Lots of zombies, we can blow them up, they're flying everywhere, like this is fun thing. And that was kind of starting point. So the game idea was very rough in beginning, was kind of, yeah, we have zombies but lots of them, and we can just shoot them around like a superstar. So it wasn't anything that special, but that was the starting point how we started.
Okay. Now you were the senior level designer. What does that mean? What were your daily duties like? What did you officially do for Dead Nation?
So Housemarque at that time was very small studio, so everybody was wearing multiple hats. So like everybody's doing what they can do to help. There wasn't like specific roles. So I was doing, of course, level design, planning, what we gonna do, and this kind of thing. But also like a starting, there was number of open questions what we needed answers, and like what type of levels we gonna have, where it's gonna be located, and how we, if you want something general, how we are gonna do that things. Also like where we are gonna spawn enemies, everything kind of related to gameplay and what kind of weapons we are gonna have. Not like having, not really combat design, but having some kind of idea. So yeah, having different kind of ideas what it could be. And later on, when we have more clear vision, then I was more working on the how we are gonna do the levels, how many levels there are, and this kind of thing, like blocking out things. And when we got a little bit further away, we hired a new level designer. He was focusing on 4 out of the 10 levels. I was focusing on 6 out of the levels. So it was kind of this switch in that sense in Pro when we were actually doing the game. And later on, when everything was done, it was just tweaking, fixing, like this kind of basic things that it's not ever balanced right, but we are trying to get it in balance, and then everything need to be feeling good. So
Yeah.
that was lots of work in that sense.
Now you mentioned that House Marquee was smaller back then, maybe about 20 people. Can you kind of take us back to the offices? What was that era like? What was the office like, the desk? Can you kind of describe it to us?
Yeah, the first studio where I joined, like this where our studios, it was very small. It was kind of a little bit mazy. There were small rooms. We didn't have this kind of open big space. I think coders have more space, but there was 4 people in that room, so, or a little bit more maybe. So it wasn't like this kind of big open office anything. It was very mazy, very small. I was sharing my room with 2 artists. We had actually lots of good time because other guy was loving films like as I do too. So we were talking like every day about films or things. So it was very lovely and very warm things to do. But that time we also, like when we were doing Dead Nation, we moved a bigger office, which is like big, huge open office, multiple meeting rooms. And we were like growing from that point, like double it almost size in. Yeah.
Okay. Were there any difficult periods developing Dead Nation? Did you ever run into any really big bugs or issues, or was it a pretty smooth process overall?
I wouldn't call it smooth, but I wouldn't think that nowadays that it wasn't that bad. Maybe it was, but like with the over 10 years, it has been fade away these kind of bad memories about it. But in beginning, we tried to have this kind of randomized level. So big idea that player will, every time when play the game, it's going to be new experience with them. And we were like, coders was figuring the code problems. I was doing this kind of city blocks that we can place each other's and having this kind of, I think I made like tens of them, like 20 or 30 of those pieces. When we didn't do that thing, I just using the PCs. blocking out the level. So it was kind of using that kind of Lego pieces to making the levels. And it was kind of pretty fast things to do. Of course, that time we didn't have enemies or key moments or anything else, but it was giving this rough idea how long the game is going to be and how it's going to feel in that sense. So there wasn't that kind of problems. Story was one thing that we didn't ever have story in the game. Everything story late that we added very late on. So it was kind of very this what we can stick in there and feel good, we can add it, and it was kind of very late on the project. Like we didn't have anywhere where the zombie thing started. So I used that like on the levels as a that's kind of narrate like a visual storytelling. The multiple locations has something that could cause it, like there was a train bringing this kind of toxic thing and it started it, or it was harbor and this kind of, there was a ship crash, or it could be that, or there was this spaceship crash that in one place, that could be the reason. So this was this kind of things what we play around in there. So yeah, that's lovely.
Now, did you say that there wasn't any checkpoints at the beginning?
Yeah. So we had this great idea that we players don't need the checkpoints like mid of the game. So it can be play the one level and it's done. After we got game out, we noticed it was big issue with multiple people complaining it online. So it was our first path fixing that is having checkpoints, because like it was like a plan that we don't need it, nobody's gonna need it. And when the game hit and everybody's complaining, it was gonna, okay, we need to fix this.
One of my favorite answers that you wrote to me was the office party when Dead Nation was released. Can you kind of share what the office was like on release day?
So yeah, so we had this lovely event. So we invited like lots of people who was working on that. Of course, our studio, lots of other people from other gaming companies. In Finland, there's multiple companies. So people, our friend was coming there. We have Walk Zombies event, people coming and dressed as zombies in there. They were great. We had lots of booze and everything else. So we had the zombies and they did bring fake blood with them. And they was dressing up in our bathrooms. And end of the night, the bathrooms were pretty bloody. And even somebody forget like this separate leg, like fake leg in the bathroom. And like there was pictures about end of scene of the toilet, and it was very bad. And I really hope that our cleaners got like extra salary to cleaning that mess up, because it was bad.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds really fun though. That's a cool time. So one of my favorite things about Dead Nation is that it's a really great co-op game. And it's I've played it through multiple times with my friends, my wife. Did you guys create the game wanting to do a co-op experience? Or I guess how did co-op go into Dead Nation?
It was mostly done in the single player, but of course playing with your friends is always nice. And it was more, I don't remember which point we added it, but it was always idea having this kind of sofa co-op, so people can play together actually in the same room. And like everything was balanced, being on the single player, and the co-op, it's kind of 1.5 times harder if you're playing with some friends. Okay. So it was, yeah, this kind of balance, but everything was based on and done from the being a single player point of view. Okay.
So one of the things that always makes me laugh is the healing aspect. If you're the guy or the girl and you get a health, they kind of go, oh, or what's the story behind that? Was that an inside joke, or was that just something to make us laugh?
I don't actually know. This is a bit bad. It can be inside joke. I know the audio guy, Pulkkinen, is funny guy, and that could be sounding like he will do that on purpose. But sadly, I don't know the background story about it, so I cannot tell it.
That's fine.
Is that just accident or good luck that he made that? So
So is there anything that you can share with us, whether it's a development story or secrets that are not well known and would make the audience go, wow, that's really cool, or I never knew that? You had some pretty cool answers when you wrote them to me.
Yeah, so I really loved adding this kind of Easter eggs in there, as like because there was a lot of time that went in tweaking, so I was a bit bored, so I added this kind of Easter eggs in there. Lots of so most of them was kind of small things like having smile face on the making plot from the plot in some places. Of course, people already don't know so if there's some shooting zombies and plot is flying everywhere, but there was the crashed spaceship on PlayStation 3. It was Super Stardust ship that was crashed in there. On PlayStation 4, it was Resogun ship that was crashed there. But one thing what I added there was Zombie Disco, and you can find it on the last level in the game. It was very kind of special hiding place there. And it was very late when I added it, so we'd have content log, so we couldn't add anything new in the game. But our audio guy, he really loved it, and he was very enjoying this thing. And so he made this very special track for that. And we got that in this kind of special track that's only playing that scene. So it was kind of great to have in. But yeah, it's this kind of secret that I don't know have everybody found it. I have been found one video on YouTube that somebody was going there, but I have seen also this kind of 100% playthrough, but where they haven't gone there. So I don't know how common that is. So
Yeah, pretty rare, I bet, for people to discover that.
yeah.
So this is my favorite question. What is that defining memory when you think of Dead Nation? It can be something funny, something serious. When you think back on your time helping create Dead Nation, what's that memory?
So for me personally, it's that like I love horror films, and well, like when I was working on Dead Nation, I watched so many horror films. I played all the horror games that was coming out. Like it was good time from horror films because there was a Spanish Wreck, there was the Norwich Dead Snow, there was lots of like good zombie things. But after the Dead Nation, it's so hard to watch anything with zombies. Or like still like after 10 years, if it's zombie games, I'm gonna think, is that will I play that game? Because I'm so sick of the theme of that. But movies nowadays I can watch them, but games are still like maybe.
Yeah. Now you're still in the gaming industry. Is this the game that you were talking about that you worked on?
Yes, that's my latest one.
All right,
You
good.
can currently you can find it also on the Game Pass or PlayStation Plus if somebody wants to test it out. But yeah, that's my latest one out. So
Can you kind of share with us what it's about so the audience can maybe go buy it?
yeah, so it's a very arcade space shooter. It's with this narrative there. He's kind of leftist colorist thing. He, oh my god, I'm so bad selling things. But um, he's this Nara's journey to finding herself and getting back in that sense. It's the story isn't there is story, but it's more about the shooting ships into space. So
Okay, yeah.
shooting shit up. That's the main point of the game.
I'll definitely throw a plug in for it.
Yes.
I also want to make sure that I'm saying your name correctly when I discuss your appearance. Is it Tommy or Tomi?
Tomi.
Tomi. Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's good. You sent me that article about the potential sequel of Dead Nation
Yes.
2. How much truth is there to that? Were there discussions for a sequel?
So we were planning a little bit like if we can make it. It was planned having because we didn't have any big boss fights in the Dead Nation, so it was really what we noticed is missing and what we wanna fix it in there. So we were planning if we could having green light from Sony, we were having this kind of zombie dinosaurs there roaming in the big cities, and it. I mean, it's an idea. We have concept art was coming out, so it was pushed pitched Sony, but they didn't say anything about it. They wanted the new IP because they were planning, because Dead Nation didn't sell very well in that sense. So they want a new IP that is maybe better, more profitable from them. So it's just business call, which is totally fair. And I mean, that happens every time. Like every studio is pitching ideas and publishers are, that sounds good, but we want something different. So it's these kind of cases. And why I share it was because it actually has the picture of the dinosaur zombies there, which I just love. And of course, it's kind of unique, stupid idea, but that's kind of nice thing that I would love to see someday. But let's see.
Yeah, I'd love to see a sequel. Now, what goes into if a game becomes physical or digital only? Do you know what goes into that process?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually publisher how they're gonna see it. Is it more in this kind of audience that are gonna just buy it fastly when they are shopping in the stores, or is that something that the people can go to the shop and buy? And usually our games was kind of small budget, this kind of where they didn't want to put so much marketing behind them. I mean, we had marketing budget, so it wasn't about that, but it's kind of bigger because making physical copies cost way more than having digital only. So in that sense, it's business call, and most of my games has been on digital only, so it's not like a new thing for me. So
Well, Tomi, I really appreciate your time today. Again, I'm sorry I'm so sick right now, but
no problem, man.
it was great talking with you. Is there anything else you want to share about Dead Nation that you think would be interesting for anyone to hear?
I don't really know. Probably not that much. I mean, you had good questions, so
I appreciate that. So kind of what happens next is the next couple of weeks, I'll start making the episode of Dead Nation. I will cut the interview up a little bit so it flows better.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, but thank you so much for your time today. It's been great talking to you, and thanks for making such an awesome game. I certainly love Dead Nation.
I want to actually ask this: how much you are gonna give this? What's gonna be your score?
Oh, my score? Oh,
yeah.
Let me look real quick because I already scored. Let me check real quick. I've played it recently with my wife. We loved it. It was a lot of fun. And I used to play it with my buddies a lot back in the day too. It's gonna get an 8 out of 10. I'm trying to think.
Okay. Not too bad.
That's a pretty I'm a top grader, so that's pretty good. Yeah. I love the twin stick controls. It's so satisfying. That's such a great aspect to it.
Yeah. This is actually one thing. You don't need to put this in yourself, but when we were play testing it was on people, we were of course bring like beers to them, like having this kind of after party thing that people can drink and they can test it. This was before the game was coming out, so there was one guy who is working on the game industry, has been playing Super Stardust, and he couldn't aim the game, and we were watching that like, why? Can you read the text what's on the screen? And he still couldn't find it. So that's why the roof thing on the tutorial, you cannot get that unless you know how to aim the game. It was this one drunken guy reason of that thing.
Yeah. No, I love the laser sight too. It's so satisfying. The thing that I'm reading my review right now.
Yeah.
What I wanted more of was I just wanted the game to be longer because I was having so much fun with it. I wanted a longer game because I had a blast with it. But yeah.
I must say, I actually want to ask you, because you have been playing it, do you mostly use a rifle in that one?
Do I what?
Use the rifle, the basic weapon?
Yeah,
or do you use more?
I use the rifle a lot. My wife is not allowed to use the flamethrower because she burns everything up. But yeah, the rifle is that, and there's an assault rifle or a machine gun? Yeah,
this can have some game.
Yeah. No, it's a phenomenal game. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, one thing I want to say to you, I think most of people have actually missed this, that if you are playing it, and if you're using the shotgun, let's say that you are buying the shotgun very early and using it, the game will give you more ammos if you're using that weapon. So it wouldn't give you unlimited ammos, but it's always, zombies will drop those ammos what you are missing currently. But if people are using rifle, which is unlimited ammos, they don't get any extra ammos. So if you are just using rifle, it's slowing player speed so much more what we expected it to be.
That's a good little fact there. That's interesting. Now I want to replay it already.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again so much for your time today.
Yeah, no problem. This was fun
I
actually.
got the parking ticket today too. That's a bummer.
Yeah. It was a little bit, yeah.
Well, we'll be in contact, and when the show debuts, I'll send you the link and you can check it out.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you again. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.